The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands, Taurus Rising Part 1. The earthbound soul meets the infinite, letting go in the ocean of the unseen. For Taurus Rising, the 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, falls in Aries, a cardinal fire sign ruled by Mars. Taurus, governed by Venus, prefers stability, sensuality, and the known comforts of life. But when it arrives at the 12th house, the realm of endings, foreign lands, sleep, and spiritual detachment, it is asked to burn its anchors. The steady earth sign must confront Aries' volatile fire, where peace comes not from control, but from courageously releasing control itself. Here, Taurus Rising must learn to let go with energy, not avoidance, to expend not just money or time, but attachments. Aries in the 12th is not gentle. It slices away illusions. It forces Taurus to deal with isolation, impulsive karmic endings, and abrupt awakenings in sleep, exile, or retreat. Aries in the 12th, active isolation, bold expenditure. The Mars-ruled sign brings action, urgency, and fire into the house of losses. For Taurus Rising, this may manifest as sudden foreign travel, emergency expenditures, or impulsive decisions to escape current realities. Aries adds speed to a house usually associated with slow dissolving. Dreams may be restless, vivid, or violent. Subconscious desires come with force. Many with this placement experience sleeplessness, active imaginations, or even martial tendencies in private or unconscious spaces. This is not a soft surrender, it's a karmic burn. What is not released willingly may be taken quickly. Mars as Lord, the warrior of letting go. Mars, as Lord of Aries, governs fire, instinct, separation, and courage. In the 12th house, it forces Taurus Rising to confront hidden fears, subconscious anger, or long-avoided losses. If Mars is strong, the native may actively pursue spiritual causes, be drawn to foreign missions, or become energetically engaged in healing, military retreats, or sacrificial service. If Mars is afflicted, however, it can lead to unnecessary fights in secret, sexual frustration, chronic sleep issues, or harsh self-isolation. Unmanaged, it may manifest as escapist thrill-seeking, suppressed rage, or compulsive spending. This Mars doesn't want comfort, it demands liberation through confrontation, from possession to purification. Taurus is naturally acquisitive of wealth, stability, beauty, and people. But Aries in the 12th house demands purification. This is a soul contract to learn what cannot be held. The Taurus Rising individual must burn off clinging, whether to past identities, old desires, or emotional comfort zones. They may be drawn to martial spirituality, yogic disciplines, fasting, sweat lodges, or martial arts with a meditative bent. Their greatest rest comes not from softness, but from earned release. True comfort arrives when effort is given toward detachment. Activation years and turning points. The 12th house activates at ages 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and 84. These years often bring sharp karmic closures, losses of jobs, relationships, homes, or illusions. At 24 or 36, Taurus Rising may take abrupt trips abroad, make radical life pivots, or face crises in private life. At 48 or 60, spiritual paths become clearer, though they may be triggered by intense loss or sudden inner fire. Each cycle asks, are you courageous enough to surrender? Are you willing to let go with awareness? Or must fate burn it from your hands? From clutching to courageous release, ultimately, Aries in the 12th teaches Taurus Rising that real value is not in what you hold, but in what you dare to let go of. That peace is not passive, it's earned through inner battle. That endings, when conscious, are not losses, but rites of liberation. This is where the preserver learns to purge, where the collector becomes the renunciate, and where Taurus Rising, born to build, learns that sometimes the greatest spiritual power is to walk away with fire still in your heart. The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands, Taurus Rising, Part 2. 8 most defining conjunctions in Aries, where comfort must yield to courage and the soul is sharpened by solitude. For Taurus Rising, the 12th house lies in Aries, ruled by Mars and marked by fiery, instinctual, and often abrupt energy. Where Taurus seeks stability and possession, Aries in the 12th demands action, risk, and purification. These 8 conjunctions in Aries represent karmic thresholds, where Taurus Rising must learn to surrender comfort, face their inner warrior, and channel fire into conscious release, whether through solitude, exile, or spiritual intensity. Mars and Moon, subconscious warrior or emotional reactor. This intense duo in the House of Dreams creates emotional restlessness and fiery subconscious responses. Taurus Rising may battle insomnia, internalized rage, or repressed maternal dynamics. If benefic, this gives strength to heal emotional pain through action, yogic discipline, martial meditation, or solitude. If afflicted, it creates impulsive self-isolation or eruptions in private life. Fulfillment comes when they allow vulnerability to be guided, not overrun, by their inner fire. Mars and Venus, sensual warrior or secret saboteur. This classic masculine-feminine pairing in the 12th house links passion with secrecy. For Taurus rising, it can manifest as private romances, hidden desires, or karmic sexual entanglements. If benefic, they bring tantric or devotional expression into their solitude, sacrificing indulgence for sacred pleasure. If afflicted, this leads to self-destructive escapism or impulsive relationships. Dharma stabilizes when desire is refined into devotional courage, not acted on recklessly behind closed doors. Mars and Mercury, sharp strategist or self-attacking mind. This conjunction merges action and logic in the subconscious zone. Taurus rising may think quickly in private, but struggle with inner conflict or harsh self-judgment. If benefic, they become initiators of spiritual research, silent strategists, or clandestine writers. If afflicted, it fuels anxiety, angry thoughts, or compulsive overplanning. Growth comes when the mental fire is directed toward spiritual clarity. Less overthinking, more conscious doing. Mars and Sun, egoic burner or selfless executor. Here, will meets will. This fierce blend in the 12th house often creates a relentless drive for liberation or hidden ambition. For Taurus rising, it can generate a need to prove themselves silently, through solitude, sacrifice, or retreat-based achievements. If benefic, it creates spiritual warriors and bold givers. If afflicted, it fuels ego clashes in secret, self-sabotage, or dramatic crises. Dharma unfolds when they act not for applause, but from inner alignment and selfless mission. Sun and Moon, subtle awakening or identity dissolution. This solar-lunar blend in Aries in the 12th house creates a tug between conscious will and emotional instinct. Taurus rising may experience identity shifts during isolation or foreign travel. If benefic, they develop radiant inner confidence, rooted in emotional resilience. If afflicted, they may feel split, externally calm, internally chaotic. Evolution deepens when they integrate head and heart, not to control, but to guide their solitary journey. Sun and Venus, secret charisma or hidden vanity. This charming pair in the house of endings creates allure behind the veil. Taurus rising may possess unspoken grace or attract admirers in unseen spaces. If benefic, they shine quietly in spiritual, creative, or healing roles. If afflicted, they may chase beauty or validation in hidden ways, using charm to avoid true transformation. Karma resolves when they let love become offering, not ego decoration. Venus and Moon, dreamy dissolver or passive escapist. This gentle combination brings artistic imagination and emotional sensitivity to the subconscious. Taurus rising may retreat into music, dreams, or romantic reverie. If benefic, they become subtle healers or creators whose work touches souls without spectacle. If afflicted, it invites escapism, emotional manipulation, or spiritual bypassing. Maturity blossoms when they turn solitude into service and let softness be strength, not avoidance. Mercury and Moon, mental healer or thought spiral. This cerebral emotional mix brings psychic perception and inner talk to the forefront. Taurus rising with this may process the world deeply in private through dreams, journaling, or mental health reflection. If benefic, they become intuitive counselors, reflective writers, or compassionate thinkers. If afflicted, it creates endless internal monologues, worry loops, or mental paralysis. Growth arrives when they use silence as sanctuary and allow their inner dialogue to be kind, not critical. In summary, Aries in the 12th house strips Taurus rising of comfort and offers fire in its place. These conjunctions demand that the soul not just rest, but wrestle. Not just detach, but engage from within. This is a house where endings are active, where isolation reveals purpose, and where fire burns away everything false. This is where the lover becomes the renunciate, where security is replaced by surrender, and where Taurus rising, born to preserve, learns that their deepest peace will come not by holding on, but by letting go, with courage and with grace. The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands, Virgo Rising, Part 1. the analyst in the mist where precision surrenders to the unknown. For Virgo rising, the 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, falls in Leo, a fixed fire sign ruled by the sun. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, is analytical, detail-oriented, and grounded in methodical logic. Yet when it comes to the 12th house, the realm of dissolution, spiritual retreat, endings, subconscious patterns, and foreign exile, this rational sign is pulled into Leo's domain of individuality, ego, and radiance. The precise mind must now bow to the mystery of soul light. The servant must learn the nobility of surrender. Here, Virgo rising faces one of its greatest inner challenges, releasing the need for control, accuracy, and reason in a realm that runs on intuition, symbolism, and soul longing. And yet, through that process, they are offered the most refined kind of illumination, the grace of dissolving into purpose beyond perfection. Leo in the 12th. Ego on the altar, light in the shadows. Leo brings dignity, performance, and a deep need for recognition into the house of endings. For Virgo rising, this often translates into a private desire to be seen, appreciated, or validated, one that may never be fully expressed publicly. They may long to matter on a soul level, but keep that longing tucked beneath routines and responsibilities. This placement also makes Virgo rising protective of their private world. They may hide their vulnerabilities behind a polished exterior, struggle with showing emotional weakness, or find it difficult to rest unless they feel useful. But true peace begins when they learn to step out of the role of the efficient servant and simply be a soul in light. Sun as Lord, the hidden flame, the inner sovereign. The Sun, ruler of Leo, represents ego, selfhood, leadership, and illumination. In the 12th house, its brilliance turns inward, offering spiritual leadership, soulful solitude, and unseen influence. If strong, it grants Virgo rising the ability to guide others quietly, heal in private, or shine in spaces that serve without spectacle, like institutions, retreats, or foreign sanctuaries. If afflicted, however, it may lead to ego suffering in silence, a feeling of invisibility, or identity confusion. They may experience burnout from overserving or secretly resent not being recognized for their depth. Their soul path ripens when they stop dimming their light to fit into perfection and start letting it guide others from behind the curtain. From service to surrender, Virgo rising thrives on systems, order, and improvement. But Leo in the 12th asks them to release this tendency, to let go of the need to fix everything, and instead enter the sacred territory of being. Here, imagination becomes more powerful than instruction, faith more healing than facts, creativity more essential than correction. They must allow the warmth of self-expression to shine even in solitude, to honor their soul's needs even when it doesn't feel productive. In this space, the analytical mind must take a knee to the quiet glory of inner knowing, activation years and turning points. The 12th house activates at ages 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and 84. These years often bring solitude, foreign travel, endings of certain identities, or spiritual shifts. At 24 or 36, Virgo rising may lose outer recognition but gain inner alignment. At 48 or 60, they may emerge as wise guides, quietly influencing others through work done in private, anonymous, or soulful spaces. Each cycle asks, can you honor your light without needing applause? Can you serve without sacrifice and surrender without shame? From perfection to presence. Ultimately, Leo in the 12th house teaches Virgo rising that their deepest healing lies in releasing control, that their inner sun doesn't need an audience to shine, that spiritual power is not in being flawless, but in being present, wholehearted, and willing to love from behind the scenes. This is where the critic becomes the creator, where usefulness gives way to illumination, and where Virgo rising, born to improve, learns that the greatest service of all is to let the divine light within them simply be. The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands, Virgo rising part 2, 8 most defining conjunctions in Leo, where the quiet worker becomes the hidden luminary. For Virgo rising, the 12th house lies in Leo, a sign of pride, radiance, and ego ruled by the sun. Virgo is modest, service-driven, and focused on details, yet Leo in the 12th stirs a deep inner need to shine, to matter, and to be seen in ways the outer personality may never admit. These 8 conjunctions in Leo represent defining karmic crossovers, where Virgo rising must let go of rigid modesty, transform inner ego wounds, and learn that unseen service can carry the soul's brightest light. Sun and Moon, private luminary or ego lost in emotion. This powerful solar-lunar blend within the subconscious mind creates deep internal awareness, or hidden turmoil. Virgo rising may possess a soulful leadership quality that ripens only in solitude or exile. If benefic, this pairing offers intuitive strength, inner peace, and the ability to guide others with quiet dignity. If afflicted, they may feel emotionally invisible or lost in roles of endless service. Karma heals when they remember, you don't have to be seen to shine, you just have to burn true. Sun and Mercury, the silent strategist or the mental martyr. This sharp pairing brings clarity and intellectual fire into the house of surrender. Virgo rising may be gifted in private thought, spiritual planning, or quiet policy work. If benefic, they lead from behind the scenes through retreats, institutions, or remote roles. If afflicted, overthinking and a critical inner voice erode self-worth. Dharma stabilizes when the intellect becomes a channel for spiritual light, not a weapon of self-doubt. Sun and Venus, hidden magnetism, or craving private validation. This refined conjunction gives Virgo rising charm, grace, and a need to be appreciated, even if they deny it. In the 12th house, they may express love or creativity secretly, or serve with quiet devotion. If benefic, they radiate warmth and spiritual elegance in private work. If afflicted, this creates hidden vanity or emotional dependency on being liked. Liberation comes when they love without needing applause and create without needing credit. Sun and Mars, devotional fire or burnout in silence. This fiery pair generates intense willpower, often directed towards spiritual pursuits, discipline, or sacrifice. Virgo rising may push themselves to exhaustion in service of higher ideals. If benefic, this becomes courageous devotion, martyr-like resolve, or silent leadership. If afflicted, it may cause suppressed rage, fatigue, or ego struggles behind the scenes. Maturity is reached when they learn the art of sustainable service and act without needing to prove their worth. Mercury and Moon, emotional analyst or overwhelmed empath. This combination ties intellect and emotion in the subconscious. Virgo rising may journal, process emotions through analysis, or dream vividly. If benefic, it grants insight into emotional cycles and the ability to counsel or teach from spiritual understanding. If afflicted, it traps them in thought loops or emotional fatigue. Balance arrives when they speak to themselves with kindness, not just logic, and allow feeling to guide insight. Mercury and Venus, the inner poet or approval-seeking idealist. This artistic duo in Leo's fiery domain brings beauty to Virgo rising's private voice. They may write creatively in solitude, express devotion through aesthetic work, or communicate with elegance in behind-the-scenes roles. If benefic, this supports spiritual artistry and refined service. If afflicted, it may cause them to seek approval through polished performance or shy away from truth to preserve harmony. The Dharma unfolds when they choose real over perfect and meaning over polish. Mars and Moon, emotional defender or suppressed frustration. This energetic pairing creates protective instincts and inner courage. Virgo rising may silently shoulder the emotional burdens of others. If benefic, this gives them the strength to advocate for others, lead spiritual missions, or endure hardship with grace. If afflicted, it leads to unexpressed anger, resentment, or chronic fatigue. Evolution begins when they allow themselves to feel, not just function, and redirect their energy toward what nourishes the soul. Venus and Mars, devotional artist or subconscious desirer. This passionate combo awakens desire for love, beauty, and spiritual connection, but only in private. Virgo rising may pour their creative or romantic energy into quiet acts of offering. If benefic, they become devotional artists, caretakers, or sensual mystics. If afflicted, it creates hidden longing, unspoken jealousy, or emotional repression. Fulfillment blooms when they allow love to move through them, not as possession, but as a sacred current of giving. In summary, Leo in the 12th house teaches Virgo rising that they don't need an audience to matter. These conjunctions draw them into sacred selfhood, a place where perfection is replaced by presence, and control gives way to creative trust. This is where the servant becomes the soul channel, where modesty meets majesty, and where Virgo rising, born to refine, learns that their light is no less divine, simply because it shines behind the veil. The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands, Capricorn Rising, Part 1. The architect in dissolution, where structure must break, and the soul learns to trust the unknown. For Capricorn Rising, the 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, falls in Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign ruled by Jupiter. Capricorn, governed by Saturn, is grounded, disciplined, and future-focused, concerned with tangible results, order, and long-term goals. But when it comes to the 12th house, the realm of endings, isolation, hidden loss, surrender, and spiritual longing, Capricorn must surrender its blueprints and allow the expansive fire of Sagittarius to lead it into unfamiliar territory. This is the house where effort must give way to faith, where achievement dissolves into reflection. For Capricorn Rising, the 12th house is a karmic portal, one that teaches them the limits of control and the hidden grace of letting go. Sagittarius in the 12th, faith in solitude, wisdom through loss. Sagittarius brings restlessness, idealism, and spiritual fire to this final house of endings. For Capricorn Rising, this can manifest as a deep inner quest, often unspoken or unconscious, a yearning for purpose that lies beyond success or worldly validation. Despite their pragmatic exterior, they carry within them a secret desire to understand the universe at a philosophical or even mystical level. They may spend money on travel, retreats, pilgrimages, or higher learning that feels less like escape and more like soul necessity. Often, foreign lands play a karmic role in their lives, not just as places of opportunity, but of inner transformation. Sagittarius here can bring meaningful dreams, intuitive flashes, or an urge to detach from routine in favor of something more inspired. But it can also bring conflict between logic and belief. If unbalanced, this placement may lead to spiritual bypassing, escapism disguised as optimism, or clinging to philosophical frameworks instead of living them. Jupiter as Lord, the hidden guru, the liberator through expansion. Jupiter governs Sagittarius and represents knowledge, guidance, and spiritual growth. In the 12th house, Jupiter becomes a quiet teacher, one who doesn't preach from pulpits but whispers through dreams, signs, and symbolic closure. If strong, Jupiter blesses Capricorn Rising with divine insight, strong moral intuition, and the grace to release attachments with maturity. If afflicted, it may cause inner moral dissonance, guilt around letting go, or crises of belief. Capricorn Rising may feel uncertain when control isn't possible, or find it hard to trust a higher plan unless it's logically explained. The deeper lesson here is to allow the soul's compass to override the ego's calendar. From structure to surrender, from rules to revelation. Capricorn Rising thrives in environments of discipline, structure, and predictability. But Sagittarius in the 12th strips away the scaffolding, asking them to walk by faith, not by sight. This is not the path of goals and outcomes. It's the surrender to the journey itself. They must learn that meaning doesn't always come from doing, but often from unlearning, releasing, and trusting. Here, Capricorn Rising is invited to explore spiritual philosophies, ancestral beliefs, or esoteric studies, but to absorb them through direct experience, not just intellectual discipline. This is the field where intuition finally earns its place alongside strategy. Activation years and turning points. The 12th house activates at ages 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, and 84. These years may bring endings that appear as setbacks, but are in fact soul realignments. At 24 or 36, Capricorn Rising may be pulled towards spiritual travel, inner retreats, or leave behind outer roles that no longer resonate. At 48 or 60, they may emerge as elder wisdom keepers, those who lead quietly, not through instruction, but by example of serene inner authority. Each cycle asks, can you let go of control and still trust life? Can you believe in something bigger than your plan? From builder to believer. Ultimately, Sagittarius in the 12th house teaches Capricorn Rising that the most lasting legacies are not constructed. They are remembered. That the soul's path cannot be measured in milestones. And that the most profound achievements may not be seen by the world at all. This is where the builder becomes the seeker, where control gives way to cosmic confidence, and where Capricorn Rising, born to master the material, learns that true mastery lies in surrendering to the infinite. The 12th house, Vyaya Bhava, expenditure, spiritual leanings, foreign lands. Capricorn Rising Part 2. 8 most defining conjunctions in Sagittarius, where belief softens discipline and purpose awakens through surrender. For Capricorn Rising, the 12th house lies in Sagittarius, a mutable fire sign ruled by Jupiter. The 12th house is where the ego dissolves, material structures release, and inner faith takes precedence over outer systems. Sagittarius here introduces a karmic invitation for the Saturn-ruled Capricorn to let go of rigid control and embrace spiritual expansion. These 8 conjunctions in Sagittarius highlight key points where Capricorn Rising is called to release plans, dissolve limitations, and discover that wisdom often emerges not from striving, but from surrendering. Jupiter and Moon, the intuitive pilgrim or the overwhelmed believer. This sensitive and wise combination in the 12th house blesses Capricorn Rising with inner emotional wisdom, spiritual intuition, and faith that can carry them through dark nights. If benefic, they find healing through dreams, foreign spiritual paths, or devotional service. If afflicted, they may be prone to emotional indulgence, escapist spirituality, or idealism that detaches from daily life. Dharma unfolds when they trust their emotional compass, without letting it drown in fantasy. Jupiter and Sun, the guiding light or the moral absolutist. This radiant blend brings deep spiritual confidence and a noble sense of inner purpose. Capricorn Rising may serve quietly as a spiritual mentor, philosophical counselor, or institutional guide. If benefic, they embody values that others follow, even when unseen. If afflicted, this conjunction may lead to spiritual pride, dogma, or exaggerated righteousness in solitude. Growth occurs when they surrender the need to be right and choose to embody what is wise. Jupiter and Venus, the devotional healer or the pleasure-seeking escapist. This graceful combination offers love, beauty, and abundance in quiet spiritual realms. Capricorn Rising may express compassion through creative ritual, foreign art, or anonymous acts of service. If benefic, they are inspired mystics, spiritual caregivers, or gentle teachers. If afflicted, they may chase pleasurable distractions in spiritual disguise, or give too much to feel needed. Fulfillment comes when love becomes offering, not obligation, and beauty becomes a way to touch the divine. Jupiter and Mercury, the silent scholar, or the inner philosopher. This cerebral spiritual blend creates quiet but expansive thinkers. Capricorn Rising may write, teach, or study philosophy in hidden spaces or foreign lands. If benefic, they guide others with deep clarity, rooted in lived experience. If afflicted, this can create conflicting thoughts, scattered beliefs, or spiritual arrogance masked as intellect. Wisdom ripens when they allow silence to complete their sentences and know that not every truth needs to be spoken to be real. Sun and Moon, soul alignment or inner identity crisis. This luminary conjunction fuses ego and emotion within the spiritual subconscious. Capricorn Rising may possess quiet confidence born of inner self-knowledge or carry unspoken conflict between who they are and what they feel. If benefic, it grants deep peace, emotional integrity, and soul-aligned solitude. If afflicted, it brings existential discontent, restlessness in retreat, or disconnection from intuition. Liberation begins when they stop trying to define the self and start becoming it with grace. Sun and Venus, graceful identity or longing for invisible recognition. This artistic and noble conjunction adds warmth, charm, and aesthetic devotion to Capricorn Rising's spiritual body. If benefic, they become creators of sacred beauty, peacemakers in spiritual service, or visionaries in isolation. If afflicted, it creates a longing to be adored without being visible, or bitterness from unrecognized efforts. Karma evolves when they offer beauty without expectation, and let presence, not praise, validate their purpose. Mercury and Venus, subtle messenger or silent people pleaser. This elegant blend gives Capricorn Rising poetic sensitivity and the ability to communicate peace, especially in spiritual or hidden contexts. If benefic, they are artists, musicians, or counselors who soften the world through private work. If afflicted, it causes avoidance of uncomfortable truths or a tendency to idealize harmony over honesty. Fulfillment arises when they speak with kindness, but also with truth, and realize that grace does not mean self-erasure. Moon and Mercury, emotional analyst or restless dreamer. This thoughtful combination makes the inner world rich with reflection and emotional logic. Capricorn Rising may process their karma through writing, dreams, or intuitive conversation. If benefic, they are natural healers through words, especially in one-on-one or retreat settings. If afflicted, this creates overanalysis, emotional detachment, or unease with silence. Spiritual growth begins when they let feeling flow before defining it and allow stillness to be the teacher. In summary, Sagittarius in the 12th house calls Capricorn Rising to lay down their defenses, not to be weak, but to become spiritually available. These conjunctions mark the places where duty gives way to devotion, where structure opens to spaciousness, and where true wisdom begins with the words, "I no longer need to know everything." This is where the planner becomes the pilgrim, where the strategist becomes the silent sage, and where Capricorn Rising, born to build, learns that the soul's greatest architecture is shaped not by control, but by trusting what cannot be seen.